Hello everybody, salam, and hope all is well at your end. In the last lectures, we have talked about individual behaviors, and in today's lecture, we are going to talk about group behavior. Well, organizational behavior is not only the study of individual behavior, but both individual behavior and group behaviors, and also individual performance and action within an enterprise and firm. So this field of study scans human behavior and the working atmosphere. It determines its effects on the job structure, performance, communication, motivation, leadership, decision-making abilities, and blah blah blah. The way an individual behaves and behavior as a group have two perspectives. This shall be internal or external. So humans are social animals and hence form groups where they are. This is true for organization as well as familial and friendship networks wherein people tend to congregate in groups and be governed by the norms and rules of the groups. For example, familial or family groups impose a certain way of behavior and in us as are the friendship groups that we form. Similarly, organizations are collections of people and organizations which require the members to conform uh, to laid down or explicitly and informally or implicit rules of behaviors. Indeed, organizations have laid down policies and procedures which enjoin the employees to adhere to such rules as part of their employment, for part of their job. For example, there are certain organizational policies that stipulates the timings, the dress code, following the rules governing work and contractual basis of employment. Moreover, such policies are also formed to ensure that the employees work together as a team to realize and actualize the organizational vision and mission. The vision of the organization and the mission of the organization. So, before we begin, what is group behavior? We have to come to what is group. So, group is the gathering of two or more individuals interacting and they are interdependent who come together to achieve particular jobs. When they are more than two and they interact with each other and they are interdependent depending on one another and they have come to achieve for a specific objectives and goal, such people are called a group. So a group is a collection of people. They shall be more than two or more than two. So what is group behavior? Group behavior in organizations tend to be follow the organization norms and rules, wherein the employees are expected to be disciplined. They should follow orders and work to the requirements of the organization rather than their own whims and fancies. The extreme form of groups conforming to the common codes of behavior is the armed forces, wherein all members at whatever level they are in are expected to follow the orders of the superiors. In army, it happens. On the other hand, organizations such as Google and Facebook are less hierarchical and less structured, with employees being allowed to work on their pet or small projects for a certain period every week. The difference being allowed to work on their pet projects for a certain period every week. The difference here is that in the armed forces and many organizations, the boss is always right, whereas in the startups means the shabbos, a kind of starting or initiating the businesses and the new economy or the knowledge sector, the rules uh, tend to be less rigid. There is no rigidity in those organizations. Most organizations fall between these two extremes, wherein the employees are encouraged, persuaded, and even ordered to conform to the norms of the groups, with small latitude and freedom being allowed for them to exercise their independence. So, uh, there are two types of groups. One is called formal group and the other is called informal group. Formal group are the structures that are designed or that defined by the organization, and informal groups are they are neither formally structured nor organizationally determined. It means they are free reign, they are free structure given. uh, why do people join groups? People join for many reasons, and they can be security purposes, they can be status purposes, for self-esteem, for their affiliation with the group, for power they gain, and for the achievement of the goal they have. So, uh, there is no particular reason, indeed, answering why individuals join group. Group helps individuals to feel stronger, have fewer self-doubts, and be more contrary to threats. They don't fear the threats. Uh, uh, they as the six reasons we said in them, and uh, we said that sometimes someone feels that am I secure or no, so he joins the group. For his status purposes, he joins group. For his self esteem and growth, he joins the group. For affiliation and for power, and the last one is goal achievement. As we said, there are two types of groups. One is formal and the other is informal. They are subdivided or categorized to two. In formal groups there are command groups, and in other we have task group. In informal, interest groups and friendship groups. uh, well, what is formal group? Indeed, formal groups are the types of work groups created by the organization and have designed, or they are designated work assignments and rooted tasks, the basic or the rooted tasks. The behavior of such group is directed toward achieving organizational group. Informal group, they are directed and they are designated to work assignment and the root task. Their behavior should be triggering to achieving the goals. So for informal groups there are two types. One is called command group and the other is called task group. In command group, it's a group consisting of individuals who report directly to the manager, while in interest group it's a group formed by individuals working together to achieve a specific objective. So in command group, it is determined by the organizational chart, uh, while interest group is affiliated to attain a specific objective of shared interest. In informal groups, we say that these groups are formed with friendships and common interest. There is no formality, there is no hierarchy, and they can be further classified into two. They are called task group and friendship group. A task group means that those working together to finish a job or task is known task group. Those working together to finish a job or task. And in friendship group, those brought together because of their shared interest of common characteristics is known as friendship group. For example, we say a group of workers working on a project and reporting to the same manager is considered as command group, while a group of friends chilling out outside together is considered as an interest group, or say members of a club. So uh, we come to the stages model of the group development. We say a team cannot be expected to perform well right from the time it is formed. So forming a team is just like maintaining a relationship. It takes time, it takes patience, it requires support and effort And members often go through recognizable stages as they change from being a collection of strangers to a united group with common goals. Uh, there is a five-stage model which is presented by Bruce Tuckman. There are five stages which are forming, storming, norming, and performing, and then adjourning. The first stage is forming. It means uncertainty about purpose, structure, and leadership. In storming, there are intra-groups conflict as members resist to constraints. In norming, a group is cohesive with strong group identity. In performing, group fully is functional and they work toward the goals. And the last one is adjourning, means for temporary groups. Uh, uh, when the groups are temporary, they are not permanent, then adjourning stage occurs. If not, then adjourning stage is not used. Only the four stages are used. So it means closing, adjourning. Now we study one by one stages of group development. The first one is called uh, forming. Forming means this is the first stage of group development. This stage presents a time where the group is just starting to come together and is described with anxiety and uncertainty. Of course, when you are starting something, there are certainties, there are risks, there are lots of problems in the first stage. So in members of this discrete with their behavior, which is driven by their desires to be accepted by all members of the group. Conflict, controversies, misunderstandings, and personal opinions are avoided even though members are starting to perform and to form impressions of each other and gain an understanding of what the group will do together. So it means all the things, the conflict, controversy, misunderstandings, and personal opinions are set aside and then they form the group. Typical consequences of the forming stage includes achieving understanding of the group's purpose, determining how the team is going to be organized and who will be responsible for what. Discussions of major milestones or phases of the group's goal that includes a rough project schedule, outlining general group rules that includes when will they meet and discover of what resources will be available for the group and the usage of that and when to use those resources. At this stage, group members are learning what to do, how the group is going, how the group is going to operate, and what is expected and what is of course acceptable. In this stage, it means the group is in the learning stage. They learn things from the other group members. What will they do? How will the group go? How will the group operate? And what is expected from this group? And what is acceptable to the management or to the firm? This is called the forming stage or orientation stage. The second name of forming stage is orientation stage. We come to the second stage of the model, and that is storming stage. This storming stage is also called power struggle. The second stage of group development is storming or power struggle. In this stage, dispute and competition are at its greatest because now group members have an understanding of the work and a general feel of belongingness towards the group as well as the group members. In this stage, it's a kind of a conflict stage where all the people know what will they do, what will they achieve, how will the group operate. So everyone is in the contest, in the race. Uh, this stage is the dominating group stage where members emerge while the less confrontational members stay in their comfort zone. Questions around leadership, authority, rules, policies, norms, responsibilities, structures, evaluation criteria, and reward system tend to arise during the storming stage. Such questions need to be answered so that the group can move further on to the next stage. Uh, the third stage is a normal stage, or it's also called cooperation and integration stage. In this stage, the group becomes fun and enjoyable because everyone understands the work activities. Uh, Group interaction are a lot more easier, more cooperative, more productive, and the talks, the conversation, and the communications are weighed, and they give and take. The communication, they make bonds, and they have mutual respect for each other. If there is a dispute or disruption, and in this stage, it's comparatively easy to be resolved, and the group gets back to the work, or they are on the track if such disputes or disruption arises. Group leadership is very important, but the facilitation can step back a little and let group members take the initiative and move forward together. It means they have to give them the chance to go further and go forward. The next is performing stage, or it's also called synergy stage. The fourth stage, once a group is clear all about its needs, it can move forward to the third stage of group development and the norming stage. This is the time where the group becomes really united. In third stage, the group becomes united. In synergy stage, the morale is high as group members actively acknowledge the talents, skills, experiences, uh, and all other functions of the group members. A sense of belongingness is established, and the group remains focused on the group's purpose and the goals. Members are flexible in this stage. They are interdependent and trust each other. The most important thing in this stage is they trust each other because they all know the experiences, the skills, the capabilities, the talents of the group members. So of course they trust each other. Leadership is distributive, and members are willing to adopt according to the needs of the group. Uh, the last stage is adjourning stage or closure stage. The second name for this is closure stage. The stage of a group can be confusing and is usually reached when the task is successfully completed. At this stage, the project is coming to an end and the team members are moving off in different directions. This, this stage looks at the team from the perspective of the well-beings of the team instead of the perspective of handling a team through the original four stages of team growth. Uh, in closure and in permanent groups, the when the activity or the goal is achieved, then again the startup comes. But in permanent groups, only the fourth stage comes in. We are limited to the fourth stage, while in temporary groups, then because they are temporary, they are ending, they are projects, so the adjourning stage exists. If it is not temporary, then the uh, adjourning stage does not come, because we are reaching to the stages. We need other stages too. So we just clarified the stages. What are the group properties? Group structure. What is group structure? It is defined as the layout of a group. It is the combination of group roles, the norms, conformity, workplace behavior, status, reference group status, social loafing, cohorts, group demography, and cohesiveness. Uh, these are the properties of the groups. Now we will study one by one. Uh, the set of what is roles of the group. Uh, role Group role mean the different roles a person plays as a part of the group. So the set of expected behavior patterns that are attributed to occupying a given position in a social unit. Role identity, it means that The roles are associated, they are affiliated attitudes and behaviors, while role perception means that our views of how we are supposed to act in a given situation. There are two other roles, they are called role expectations, how others believe you should act in a given situations, the expectations of others. Role conflict mean the conflict experience when multiple roles are incompatible. uh, we come to the norms. Norms means the typical standard set by the group collaboratively that every member has to follow. They are the acceptable standards of behaviors within a group that are shared by the group members. Uh, Powerful means of influencing behaviors, the performance of norms. Uh, uh, Norms are the typical standards that are set up by the group collectively that every member has to follow. There are some lessons that we have to learn from the Hawthorne studies, and this depends on productivity that is increased because groups were paid attention to by the observers, not because the changes in the environment. If you remember Hawthorne studies in management, uh, the group worked a lot rather than the change of the environment and the change of the lighting there was. So workers in groups do not maximize individual economic rewards. Uh, they say that group standards are set and enforced by the group itself. We come to the third stage, the third property of that is status. So status means that the designation of members in the group. What are the designation? What are the jobs, responsibilities of the group members? A status is a socially defined position or rank given to groups or groups members by others. It is a group structure that status includes group norms, cultures, status equity. All these factors, when combined, presents the status of the members of the groups. They are determined by the power a person wields over others. They are a person's ability to contribute to a group's goals. They are determined by an individual's personal characteristics. Uh, what is the impact of status? If someone has a high status members, they have more freedom to deviate from norms. If someone has high status, they are better to able to resist conformity pressures. Interactions among members of group is influenced by status. By high status people are more assertive, they are too talkative. Low status people are the vice versa, and the low status members may not participate in some activities. uh, Group creativity may suffer from high status the people. The fourth type of group property is size. uh, well, size matters in the organization. Of course, in groups, when the groups are smaller, they are fast, they perform fast. Smaller groups are faster at completing tasks because the members of them perform better, but large groups are consistently better at problem solving. And uh, laughing, social laughing. What is social laughing? Social laughing means, laughing itself means idleness. Someone who is not busy in something, who is idle. So a tendency to expend less effort working in a group than as an individual. Laughing means kahil tob ya sustob ya kasi sust bosha kar na mekona, and you need to push him. That's called laughing. uh, Social laughing causes and the prevention of them, how they are caused and how they are prevented. uh, and equity theory, or we say unequal distribution of work. When there is unequal distribution of work, this is the first cause of social loafing. Their heart or their willingness to the work will not be done. Dispersion of responsibility clouds the relationship between individual inputs and group outputs. How will we prevent them? So set group goals, tell them that these are the goals of the groups. Increase intergroup competition among them, say that who will perform well. Engage in peer evaluation, two people in the same rank evaluate them, engage them, and distribute group rewards based on members' individual contributions. How, according to their performance and their contributions, award them. Social loafing, the phenomenon of people exerting less effort to achieve a goal when they work as a group than when they work alone. If they work alone, they work better. But you come to, if you bring him to the group, he will of course exert less. This is the one of the main reasons why groups are sometimes less productive than the combined performance of their members working as individuals, but should be recognized from the accidental coordination problems that groups sometimes experience. Many of the causes of social loafing arise from the individual feeling that his or her effort will not matter to the group. So these are the uh, things that are uh, uh, these are the causes and the prevention of the group properties. Uh, the next is cohesiveness. Cohesiveness, the degree to which members uh, of the group are attracted to each other and motivated to stay in the group. Cohesiveness means the extent to which group members are attracted towards each other and are encouraged to stay in the group. Group cohesion is the aggregate of all the factors causing members of the group to stay in the group, or they are attracted to the group. Group cohesion acts as the social glue that binds a group together. Some people think that work teams illustrating strong group cohesion will function and perform better in achieving work goals. Uh, Group uh, cohesion is not attributed to one single factor, but it is the interaction of more than one factor. While group cohesion may have an impact on uh, group performance and may create or increase group cohesion. So group cohesion can actually have a negative impact on group task performance, of course. The most influential factor that creates a positive relationship between group cohesion and group performance is the group members' commitment towards the organization performance and goals and the norms of that. Uh, uh, Next is high cohesiveness with high norms gives higher productivity. Uh, how will we encourage cohesiveness? Make the group smaller, encourage them agreement with group goals, and increase the time spent together with them, increase the status and perceived difficulty of group members and group membership, stimulate the competition with each other, give rewards to uh, uh, of course to the group rather than to individual members. Tell them that it's not individual performance but group performance, and physically isolate the group. Do not sit them at one side. uh, we come to group decision making. What is group decision making? Group decision, commonly known as collaborative decision making. It's a situation faced when individuals collectively make a choice from the alternatives before them. Uh, this decision is then no longer attributable to an individual group member or to any individual group member, as all the individuals and social group processes like social influence contribute to the decision outcome. The decisions made by the group are mostly different from those made by individuals. For example, groups tend to make decisions that are more extreme than those made by individual members, as individuals tend to be biased. What are the advantages? What are the strengths and weaknesses and the disadvantages? Um, Mostly, group decision making has two advantages over individual decision making. The first one is synergy, and the second one is sharing of information. Synergy means that the idea that the whole is greater than the aggregate of its parts. When a group makes a decision collectively, its judgment can be powerful than that of any of its members. Through discussion, questioning, and collaborative approach, group members can identify more complete and robust solutions and recommendations to the decision making. The second advantage of group decision making is sharing of information. Group decisions take into account a wider scope of information, as each group member may contribute distinct or different information, and they share expertises. Sharing information increases understanding, clarifies issues, and of course facilitates movement towards a collective decision making. Uh, Weaknesses or the disadvantages of group decision making, they can be diffusion of responsibility, they can be lower efficiency. uh, Diffusion of responsibility means group decision making results in distribution of responsibility that results in lack of accountability for outcomes. In this way, everyone is responsible for a decision, and no one really is in a group. Individual cannot be, because the group makes decision. Moreover, group decisions can make it easier for members to refuse personal responsibilities and blame others for bad decisions. The second disadvantage is of lower of group decision making is lower efficiency. Group decisions can sometimes be less efficient than individual decision. It takes additional time because there is a need of active participation, discussion, and coordination among group members. Without good facilitation and structure, meetings can be eliminated in trivial details that may matter a lot to one person but not to the groups. So these were the strengths or weakness, or the advantages or disadvantages of decision making, group decision making indeed. Now we have what are the techniques of group discussing. uh, well Group decision making interacting groups meet face to face and rely on verbal and non-verbal interactions to communicate. So there are some types of decision making techniques. The one is called brainstorming and the other is called nominal group technique, or NGT. What is brainstorming? This technique includes a group of people, mostly between 5 and 10 in number, sitting on a round table, producing ideas in the form of free association. They are given free. Everyone asserts his own idea. Everyone states his or her idea. The main focus is on generation of ideas and not on an evaluation of these ideas. Only generation of ideas. In brainstorming, we generate idea. Okay, what is your idea? What is your idea? What is his idea? What is their idea? So we collect the ideas. This is called brainstorming. Uh, Brainstorming technique is very effective when the problem is comparatively precise and can be simply defined. A complex problem can be divided into parts, and each part can be dealt with separate at a time. The next one is nominal group technique. Nominal group technique, or nominal group thinking. Also, there is a second name for it, is nominal group thinking. This technique is similar to brainstorming, except that this approach is more structured. There is structure designed for it. It motivates individual creativity. Members form the group for namesake and operate independently, originate ideas for solving the problem on their own, in silence and in writing. Members do not communicate well with each other, so that strong personality domination is evaded. The group coordinator either collects the written ideas or writes them on a large blackboard, so that each member, or whiteboard, so that each member of the group can see what the ideas are. Then these ideas are further discussed one by one in turn, and each participant is motivated to comment on these ideas in order to clarify and improve them. Each idea will be commented and then furtherly improved. After all the areas have been discussed, they are evaluated for their merits and drawbacks. That what are their merits, what are their advantages, and what are their drawbacks or the disadvantages. And each actively participating member is needed to vote on each idea, and they allot it to a rank that give mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, and on the basis of that, of priority of each alternative solution, the idea with the highest cumulative ranking is selected as the final solution of the problem. So these were the group decision making techniques: brainstorming and nominal group. Remember that group norms, the roles and identities have powerful effects on individual behavior. The conformity can be a problem. They have leaders minimize initial inputs. Conformity means tatabuk. So in group decision making is not always better than individual decision making. Of course, if the group members are not expert, they are not skilled, they are not talented, so then there will be problem where they are having a biased discussion, so it will not be always effective. This was today's lecture about foundations of behavior and decision making, and then uh, group decision techniques. Thank you very much. We will, if you have any questions, please leave your comments or ask me on WhatsApp.